Hello everyone, Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat. Back with another 30-day Christmas card making challenge card. Today it's a sketch. I will pop the sketch up on the screen now, but this is me drawing the sketch out so that I'd got a memory of it because, funnily enough, can't look at it whilst I'm recording on my phone. Keen-eyed amongst you will realise I didn't entirely copy the sketch perfectly either, but it doesn't matter, it's a jumping off point. I always take sketches with a pinch of salt and I do my own thing with them. But actually on this one, it's not too bad. I just kind of layer them up not quite right, but then I've got a bigger element than the sort of snowflake element that Martin had given us, etc, etc. So what am I doing? I have chosen two random pieces of pattern paper. No, one random piece of pattern paper and then this fabric paper that I faff around, kind of fraying the edges. To be honest, nobody can see that in the end, but never mind. And yeah, where I should have gone was I should have gone for a wider piece than that sort of like horizontal stripe, but also the piece which is kind of like the birch tree type design. That should have overlapped the front of the card, but never mind, it doesn't really matter, it's all fine. You can still see the sketch just about from what you know you can tell it's the same sketch. Now I then decided, instead of having that just as a panel onto some plain cardstock, I decided to stick it onto another piece of pattern paper and to make a 5.5 by 5.5 card. At this point, I realised I had stuck Santa on slightly wonky, so that was me adjusting, re-gluing. Yeah, I made a right old mess. There was glue all over my hands. I was just a bit messy. To be honest, this is such a super quick and easy card. Took me less than 20 minutes to make because it's just sort of a couple of pieces of pattern paper and then that element that is one of the big bits from Simple Stories, bought them a little while ago. Absolutely brilliant, because it just does the job, because that Santa is A, fabulous, and B, covers quite a large space, so you don't need to do very much. Now, at this point I decided to go round that top panel, the sort of the slimline one, with the stickles, which is in kind of like a champagne colour. And then I'm going through and deciding, do I want to add some stars? I do end up adding just the red star. I don't end up with the black and the green. I decided they don't go. And then I'm also deciding on a sentiment. So again, I'm keeping things simple because, you know, I want to join with as much of these challenges as I can. So I am trying to use up stuff that is already half made or partially made where possible. I'm also trying to use up new stash, so things like the big bits. That's the first time I've used those. So I'm umming and ahhing, deciding on what I want, and I decide on this Making Spirits Bright. It's I'm going to say waffle flower sentiment. I've already stamped, embossed it, die cut it, and then stacked it up. And then I'm umming and ahhing and faffing around with these pieces of acetate because I really want a kind of like banner behind it or a label behind it, because obviously it's a different shape to what the sketch was, which was kind of a strip one. So I decided the acetate didn't look right, but the vellum would look okay. And so I take these two pieces of vellum and I snip them down in size, and then I'm going to mount them behind my little black sentiment. Again, a bit of fiddling around, get there. But at some point during this, it's already happened, I can see now, I have smudged that glitter glue, because I'm a mucky pup and I can't do things neat and tidy. And I should know by now, glitter glue should be the very last thing I ever add, and I should move it to a completely different place whilst I'm working, because otherwise it just goes everywhere. And so now I end up, it's a lot thicker and a gloopier kind of line than I'd really wanted. But it dries back. I know it won't dry quite as bold as that looks. This is it halfway through drying, so it's still got a little bit of, because as the liquid dries, it sort of like contracts, and so it becomes less lumpy. Hope that makes sense. But anyway, there's my card, kept it simple. Sort of followed the sketch, not completely, but enough to see it there. So thank you, Martin, for the inspiration. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to see future videos. Until next time, bye-bye.